That's like what I do every time I try to sing along to one of BABYMETAL's songs. What's up everyone, John from ARTV. It's time for a review of the sophomore album by BABYMETAL, a band that I had never listened to before this. I had heard a lot about them. It's J-pop meets metal, heavy metal. And it's the weirdest thing. It's as weird as it sounds. In fact, the first time I hit play on this album, I was laying in bed, it was late at night, I just listened to the first song, The Resistance, in shock of just like, what am I even listening to? But the more I listened to it, the more I couldn't help but see this as not only being not just a novelty act or anything like this, actually something that I could see myself listening to from time to time. BABYMETAL consists of a backing band and 3 main girls that are just like fronting this. They're 18, 16, and 16. So teenagers singing about subjects like bullying and just taking a stand for yourself, not taking other people's shit. But it's all sung in Japanese. I had to look up translations for these songs in English. I went back and listened to some of BABYMETAL's earlier material, and it does seem like they've matured some here, but that's definitely a decision, I think, by the label. None of the girls in this band are writing the lyrics. All they do, there's 2 that sing backing vocals and dance, do some of the growls and screams, which do sound very intimidating coming out of teenage girls, and then the main vocalist. And then they have an entire backing band that plays all the music, and they do a great job, even though they do sound like they're putting on their best Dragonforce imitation at some points in this record. I'm looking at You, Road of Resistance. Jeez, it just seems pretty much blatant on that track. But there is one thing that really irks me about BABYMETAL, and it's the fact that this all feels so put together, manufactured like a boy band, done for commercial success to get people talking. And BABYMETAL, a group of J-pop girls singing clean vocals mainly over metal riffs and big breakdowns, yeah, that's gonna get people talking. It got me talking, but like I said, it's not just a novelty act, I don't feel like. You know, like it wears off at some points and you're thinking, what am I even listening to? Just because of some of the tracks are very formulaic in terms of their music. Towards the end of this record, there's some very monotonous tunes like Tales of the Destinies and Syncopation and even Cis Anger. Tracks that just don't really do much for me. In fact, Cis Anger just gets downright annoying to me with the vocals on that track and then just the heavy chugging guitar, and it's just like, please stop now. But more often than not, they actually come through with some pretty decent tunes. In fact, some of these things are downright catchy, and it's just like, this shouldn't work so well, but songs like Karate are just so badass. Say what you will about this band, but the guitars and the catchy vocal melodies on this thing and just the verses leading up to the chorus, just explosive and all around exuberant listen. And I could say similar things for the opening track, The Resistance. I will say that the guitar solo and the guitar playing, like I said, sounds a little bit too much like Through the Fire and Flames by Dragonforce for me. But once we actually get into the vocals on this thing, very, very menacing song coming out of these girls with the heavy backing band. It's just downright intimidating and it leaves me shaking in my boots a little bit. GJ has a similar effect on me, a track right in the heart of this album, and I like when they team up for those chanted vocals, like Marta, Marta, da, da, da. I have no idea what they're saying, really, honestly, but it sounds pretty cool. Metataro was a weird one for me. That's track number 5 on the US release of this. I'm not sure if there's a different track listing for the worldwide release, but this is just a song that almost feels like it's like an anthem of sorts, like a national anthem, not just like an anthem like Empowerment, but it almost feels like it's like a Pledge of Allegiance, but except done for something else, and it's stylized very, very strangely. It just kind of confused me and baffled me a little bit, to be honest, but it sounds alright. 2 of the album's catchiest tracks come in the form of Awadama Fever, aka Bubble Fever. Just very commendable drumming on that song, very punk leaning, just a fast-paced jam. And then right after that we get YAVA, which is just almost like a synthy, dancey metal song, throwing in those guitars in the background, but the synth's definitely coming to the forefront. Just, like I said, very dance floor ready, and it's just a fast-paced, fun track that's really hard to deny. It's weird to hear them singing in English on the the closing track, The One. It's one of those tracks that doesn't really synchronize that well because it was translated from Japanese to English for the US release, and it doesn't synchronize correctly. I don't feel like some of the words just feel like messy or jumbled, or else somebody not speaking in English that well, and I'm not coming down on them for that. I don't speak a word of Japanese, so I would be the last one to judge anyone. In fact, they did a pretty good job, if assuming that they don't speak English that well, or else, you know, they're not fluent in it, or maybe they only know this song in English. But it just doesn't quite add up, along with the generic instrumental on this album. And I have to say, honestly, it's about half and half with the way the music is played here. Some of them just feel like the backing band is just putting on their best imitation of popular metal in the US and just all around the world. And the other half is actually creative takes on something that actually could be something new, mixing in electronics, heavy breakdowns, and some more in-your-face, just heavy stuff that does feel very angry and at times danceable. And it's a weird eclectic mix, and unfortunately some of those instrumentals do drag this down. Even though I like the vocals on the track, I might not like the instrumental. And I have to say that overall though, I really do like hearing these less intimidating vocals. Just a young girl singing over these tracks. It feels weird, but oddly refreshing, because I get so tired of the whole metal scene and these just deathly growls and these heavy chugging guitars, and it's just nice to see something new in the scene. I don't cover a ton of metal, I don't get into a ton of metal. A lot of it has to do with just the fact that a lot of it feels very, very similar to me, and this is something stirring the pot a little bit, not calling it, you know, just a total breath of fresh air, but at the same time it is something new that I've never really heard before. So overall, I'm kind of enjoying this project. You've got everything from like ballads like No Rain, No Rainbow, which does a great job, almost feels like they're putting on a little bit of a Guns N' Roses imitation at times, some of their slower stuff and more ballad heavy moments. And then you've got your heavier stuff like GJ and Road to Resistance. Just you know, a lot of different stuff that you're gonna find on this record. I can't say it's gonna be for everyone. Me personally, I'm gonna go with a light 3.5 for The Resistance by BABYMETAL. Sorry if I seemed a bit baffled and confused trying to get my words out during this review. It's not one that I normally do. I don't normally cover stuff in other languages, so it was weird listening to this album, playing it in the car. One of my friends looked at me like I was crazy whenever I started playing this one day. But that's besides the point. Let me know your thoughts on The Resistance by BABYMETAL in the comments section down below. I will link you to the album on Spotify if you'd like to try it out. The link's down there, along with my Facebook, which is moved to a new URL, by the way, facebook.com/ARTV media. I finally got the name of the page changed to ARTV. Thank you, Facebook gods. Thank you, Mark Zuckerberg. Finally, I've been trying to do that for years. Thanks for watching, hitting the like button, subscribing to the channel, because friends don't let friends go unsubscribe. Click directly below me if you'd like to see the last review that I did, or something in the genre similar, another album that I've covered that you might enjoy. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you very soon right here on ARTV.